Hi guys, it's Misminiature. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have another speed build. This is going to be a family apartment. It's my first apartment on this channel and I am a little bit late to the family build, but that's alright. I did eventually get around to it and that's what matters. And I had so much fun building this. It's a little bit more cluttered than I normally build my apartments. I usually build my apartments very open concept. This one, you'll see, but it's definitely not something I would really call open concept. But yeah, I had fun building it, and I really enjoyed the Parenthood items that came with, obviously, the Parenthood pack. So yeah. And I did build this home with a family in mind. I also built them very shortly after the Parenthood pack came out, and they are the Coldwater family. There's Miranda and Danny, who are the mother and father, and then there is Danny's mother, and her name is Julie, and then they have two teenage daughters, Cora and Darla. So Danny and Miranda met and fell in love over their love of music, and they were both in very promising music careers, and Miranda, she became pregnant, and not with twins, but I guess they're sisters, obviously. But they never really slowed down from working, and they always had Julie, Danny's mother, to help raise the girls and look after them when they were working. But now that the girls are teenagers, Danny is kind of like, I'd really like to spend more time with my children. Like, I spent so much time working. Maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe I should have spent more time at home. So he wants to step back from his music career, where Miranda is thriving in her career. She really doesn't want to take that step back, and she feels that she's spending an adequate amount of time with her children. So there's going to be some friction there, I would say. And Julie, now that the girls are teenagers, she doesn't need to watch them as much. She's really got all this free time that she's not used to having. So she needs to find a hobby, or maybe a nice gentleman to spend some time with. And yeah, I've actually played with this family, and I'm having a lot of fun, like, following this kind of little storyline that I have going on. It's been fun, because lately I've just been, like, building, playtesting, not using that family or not using that home, and this way I'm actually using both the home I built and the family, which is nice. I mean, now that I've started the YouTube channel, like, I still love building, I still love playing The Sims. I just find that I don't use as much as I build, because, I mean, obviously, how could I? I've done quite a few builds. I don't think I could use them all. I mean, not for long periods of time anyway, so. But yeah. Oh, also, if I was going to advertise this apartment, I would advertise it as ridiculous amount of cupboard space. You will never need this much kitchen cupboard space, ever. Like, I don't think so. I really don't think you could ever need this much kitchen cupboard space. But it's there. And I debated, making it less, because I had looked at it, it's like, I think it's just too much, but I left it because I felt the walls looked too bare without it. So yeah, they're just lots of cupboards. But if you're with a family apartment, you probably want more cupboard space, but also your sim can't even reach most of those, so that's his life. And I wasn't going to put the wine bottles on the counter. I was like, family apartment, maybe. I mean, I know you don't have young children in this household that I built it for, but, you know, maybe they wouldn't be on the counter. Maybe you'd have them in one of the mini cupboards instead of just lying out. But I don't know. I don't know how out of reach you would want to put the wine, but I imagine most people have it in a rack somewhere. But what do I know? I don't have children, so... And actually, I lied. I would not advertise this home as ridiculous amount of cupboard space. I would advertise it as ridiculous amount of storage space, because I place not only one hall closet, but 2 hall closets. Why? I don't know. They fit there, so that's what I did. I decided that this apartment had tons of storage space. And I've really only ever looked at one apartment that had, like, this amount of good storage space. And it was actually a really nice apartment at the time. I mean, I was 18, so it would have been perfect for me, because at 18 I had way too many shoes and way too much clothes. Too much clothing? Yeah, that sounds better. So I didn't end up getting the apartment, but I mean, it was my second choice, and the first choice I was approved for, so I didn't get to live in the home with, like, I think there was a hall closet, a huge walk-in closet. It was very nice. Anyway, way off topic. I'm going to try and talk about the build again. So I really like this area. I mean, I just needed something to fill in the space, and I wanted to make like a little book nook, I guess. And I imagine that Julie would spend quite a bit of time there, maybe trying to find a hobby now that she has all this free time, or just relaxing. I mean, she's definitely earned her golden years, so she's raised not only Danny, but now she's helped raise his 2 children, so, you know, she deserves some time to relax. Now, this is the master bedroom, so this is where Danny and Miranda would sleep, and I didn't want to have, like, their music instruments, I guess, overflowing the apartment. I really just wanted them to keep them in their room, like, maybe the girls had just turned into teenagers from children, and they didn't really want them to get broken, so they kept their instruments in their room. But all of the paintings that I put in this home, or almost all of the paintings I put in this home, are music related, so you definitely get that love for music from viewing the apartment, but they didn't want their instruments, like, just all over the place. So I kind of built a side room off of their bedroom to put their instruments. And I really wish that you could use the quiet trait on this apartment, but you can't. It's one of those traits that has to be, like, already built in to the apartment, so that is unfortunate. I was a little annoyed by that, and I looked through, like, mods, and I couldn't find one, but I didn't look very hard. I just kind of quickly glanced, because I was like, I know I've seen the quiet trait on apartments, like, why can I not select it? And then I researched and found out, oh, okay, it's only on ones that it's already set to, and I couldn't find a mod that really changed it. I found one, but it said quiet didn't really make a difference, and that was the only one I was after, so anyway, I didn't bother. But if you have that mod, or if you have one that works, you can kindly link it below, and I will borrow that. Or if you don't want to link it, that's fine, but I would recommend probably putting quiet on this apartment, just because, well, there's a lot of instruments, and your neighbors are probably going to be pretty unhappy if you're always using them and such. I know I've had them come over and pound on my door a couple times. We're not really all that popular in this building, I won't lie. Also, I was kind of waiting to post a apartment just because I was kind of hoping there'd be, like, a patch or an update where you didn't have to upload the apartments, like, by room to the gallery. Especially where this one, I've done, like, so many, like, little half doors, or, like, the open doors. So that room with the 2 dressers that I did for their bedroom, it counts as a room, and I'm like, well, I really don't want to upload just, like, a room with dressers, so this may not be on the gallery just for that reason, because, yeah, it would be a lot of rooms that mainly didn't have a whole lot of stuff in them, so I really wish they would come out with something so that I could upload the whole apartment instead of by room, but I mean, oh well, I'll survive. And after rebuilding my last build, I know it is possible to build off of screenshots, or not screenshots, but video. I mean, it took me a ridiculous amount of time, and I had to pause a lot, and I don't wish that on anyone, but I mean, if you really, really, really liked this build, I would probably link it all below, or post all the rooms is what I mean. But I probably won't, just for the reason where so many small rooms, and it just wouldn't seem like there'd be a whole lot of a point to me. But if you really want me to, I will. I'm accommodating like that, I guess. And I really like the idea. I can't remember who I first saw do this, but using the curtains by the like open doorways or the arches, I really like that idea. It reminds me of like the beaded doors, and I thought like these parents would probably be the kind of people with beaded doors. I don't know what kind of classifies you to have beaded doors, but like, you know, the kind of like they're rock and roll, or maybe like super chill and just love music, and they don't want things like doors in their lives. I mean, obviously there are doors in the apartments, but not into their music room and not into their bedroom. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a cool little touch. Now, this is Julie's room, and I wanted it, this is going to sound mean, I guess, but I wanted it to be as, like, plain as possible, just because, like, she's an elder sim, and this probably wasn't actually meant to be her bedroom. It was probably just, like, a guest room, or maybe it was a spare room that they were using for an office, and they just kind of quickly converted it to be her bedroom. And they didn't want to do it anything like too fancy because, well, they didn't know how long she would be staying. Like, maybe they thought that they wouldn't need her help as long as they did. Maybe she moved in when Darla and Cora were babies, and they expected her to probably just stay a couple months to help them out or something, and then, you know, now they're teenagers and she's still living there, and they haven't renovated her rooms, so... But she's okay with that. I mean, it's nice. It's very simple, but I think she'd still like it. Now, I did play around with Darla and Cora's room a lot. I wanted to do it separately, but I couldn't place another window because it's an apartment, so... And I didn't want one room to have no windows at all because I felt it made it look too dark, maybe a little bit dreary, so I was like, no... And I did debate maybe doing the beds the same color, but I was like, no, they're different people. They would probably want, like, different beds. They're very different. Like, Darla is kind of a geek. She loves gaming. She's a little bit of a loner. And Cora is very popular. I imagine she would think she's a dance machine. I think she has that trait. So I imagine that she would be like on a dance team or a cheerleader or something. She's just they're very different, which is fine. They obviously both share their parents' love for music, but still very, very different from each other in other aspects. So I wanted their area or side of the bedroom to be different. And, I wanted them to have a window in the bedroom, or them both to be able to have a window, so I kept the room as one room rather than two. And I figured they could share a dresser, that it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, I know when I was a teenager, I definitely would have not been able to share a dresser, because I hoarded clothes. Like, if I had, like, a shirt that used to be my favorite shirt, but maybe it was too big for me now or too small for me or anything, I wouldn't get rid of it, because there was always that chance that it might fit me again, or someone else might like it. I don't know. I just had a weird attachment to, like, clothes. I didn't want to get rid of it. I mean, I've grown out of that now. Like, I donate my clothes all the time if they don't fit me anymore, or if I just haven't worn them in a really long time, or I look at it and I'm like, I'm probably too old to wear that now. It's time to let it go. So I have grown out of that. But I imagine these two, wow, way off track. Anyway, I imagine Darla and Cora have worked out a system to share their dresser. And I really liked this thing I did with the pillars, because when I had those open walls, I was like, oh, it looks kind of weird if the wall just ends. So I added those to the end. The only thing I don't like about them is when you put the walls down, they obviously stay up, but I think it kind of adds like a little bit of a cool touch to the apartment, so I liked them. But again, they're very easily removed, so that shouldn't be any kind of problem. If you don't like them, no worries. So I really like this coffee table. I don't know why, it just feels like a better set up for a coffee table, especially in that room. I don't know, I just really like it. I like a lot of the items that came with the Parenthood pack. As I mentioned before, it is a really fun pack. But we are almost to the end now. I'm just changing a couple lights and making sure everything's painted. Oh, and of course I do add this other closet in. But anyway, we are almost to the end. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this. And hopefully I will be back soon. Thanks. Bye.